Well, hello there. Gonna get started here in a sec. Yeah, Ranch, it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I've been trying to keep that consistent schedule. I think there, like a couple weeks ago with the storms that were going on, I had to postpone the Tuesday one a day, but outside of that, I've been keeping it relatively consistent. Hello, hello. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so oh, he's on YouTube this time. I think YouTube is a little bit delayed, but yeah, if it gets too delayed, guys, I'd say probably just head on over to Twitch. I think like the stream and the chat are more synced, more closely together. Hello, hi Toast, hi Claw, hi Wrench. Hope you guys are doing well. Just adjust the volume a bit. Okay, cool. So, agenda for today. We're gonna finish up this idol animation. I worked on finishing some of the shading up. I think maybe like with exception of the ears. Also, yeah, let me bump this up to 12 frames. It's looking pretty good. The one thing is I have to adjust the shading on like the right ear here because it doesn't really match with the pattern. And also I need to make some adjustments to the hands, but outside of that, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. If we get to finishing this one today, I'm gonna move into working on brick next, most likely. So if we have time, yes, Claw. This is like an old sketch I had of him. I might rework it a bit, but he's probably gonna be the next character I work on idol for. And then eventually, like once I get the remaining characters down, I'm probably gonna like import them all. And I'll probably share it in the server too, but we'll see like what the final product looks as far as like all the characters in the party look like. The only stipulation with that, I think, is that to balance the game, I'd probably do a max of like 3 party members in battle. But I mean, I could just do like a sample of like what all the characters look like in game. So. But yeah, if we have time, I will definitely get to this next. And then the only characters that would be left after that are Sasha and Sabbath. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like that there is some level of like Skullgirls like DNA in it. Just with the like level of like animation I'm trying to put behind it. One thing I was trying to look into, I didn't have time to like work on it today yet, but one thing I was looking into is setting up QTEs with Unreal, because one thing I wanted to work on was having like branching attack cutscenes. So like if say if like an enemy's attacking you, right? And you successfully like press the button in time, then it parries the enemy's move and it goes back into battle. But if you miss the parry, then it would do like a enemy attack cutscene. So I'm trying to figure out like the logic behind that right now. But then I had to head out earlier to get food. So but I'm gonna try to work on that next week. So thing that I want to work on, I kind of want to fix this hand here, because like if you notice, like some of the frames, like the middle knuckle kind of expands a bit here. So I might try to do that. Actually, I'm gonna save a copy. Let me think about this. Yeah, let's save a copy. That way I can merge like all the colors. Yeah. What I wanted to do, Toast, is basically you can parry. I want it so that you can parry any move in the game, like any attacks. So if you're able to like be skillful enough, like you can either parry every single move if you know how to time it correctly, or just have like a base like defend where you lose that turn but you have the damage. Fighting game. Claw. I'm gonna merge all these, so have to deal with the regular color. Yeah, okay. It would depend on the scenario. The reason why I'm considering doing it via sequencer is because sequencers, like, it can handle like a bunch of different camera states. So that's what I'm looking into right now. If there's a way to do it via just blueprints, I'll probably do that, but from what I noticed, like a lot of like the cinematic attacks that I'm trying to replicate, you probably have to do it through sequencer. I might do that for what you're talking about. I might do for like the boss like enemy phase where it goes into like a separate 3D scene, and then the enemy just like attacks the entire map and you have to like dodge. I might add, maybe I'll add like a counter ability there as well. But I kind of have to experiment with it a bit so that like you can't abuse it either. Okay. I keep doing this thing where I hit the I hit my mic with the tablet pen by accident. Yeah, I'd if I add the ability to parry, like there needs to be like a heavy punish if you don't time it correctly. Like say like if you opt to go for a parry instead of defending and you miss the parry, then you take like double damage or something. But if you just like take the hit, like it'll either be neutral or half if you defend. So there'd probably be like some sort of risk reward element to it. The other thing was like it would have a built-in like super meter to like it would be separate from your like MP gauges, right? Where it's kind of like what I'm envisioning is like Super Mario RPG, where you have a percentage meter, and then like once it's filled, you pick a character out of your party of 3 to do their like character-based super or ultimate, I guess. But it'd be kind of the same thing. Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be lots of fighting. Just RPG like fighting. The closest I could probably compare it to is like for the supers is probably like Budokai 3, you know, like the Dragon Rush combos. But the difference is that instead of like you and the computer player like guessing the input, it would just be like a skill based like parry or attack, where if you like just time it at the correct moment, you either get enhanced damage or like you negate whatever attack automatically. I mean, it would be cool to like if the game did like succeed, it would be funny to add like a fighting game spin-off. But that I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't even know the like what I do at that point to I don't know like the first thing about like fighting games or like coding fighting games. I imagine it's so difficult by comparison. Honestly, if I did add like anything like if I added like a fighting game in it, it would be funnier to just add it as like one of the mini games. So the palm is like budging over here. Yeah, there's so many like components with a fighting game that you honestly don't like. You just take for granted. I like even like if you're not thinking about like the net code behind it, like just all of the mechanics behind it. It must be like so complicated by comparison. I'm seeing like yeah the palm area like it keeps shifting here. That's the thing that scares me with game jams, though, is like how you have like you're basically put in a position where you have to crunch. And I'm like, you know, I do that with work sometimes. I don't want to have to experience that like when I'm supposed to be having fun. Dude, fighting game logic does have hands. One thing I was thinking about doing, like you know, like what Shenmue. You know how like they had like an arcade section. I think what other series has that? Yakuza. How like they have an arcade section and like you play a bunch of like arcade games in it. I'd love to like have something like that in Neverwake where it's just like a bunch of different like inspired like game archetypes. Like one I really wanted to build was like a faux Contra game where like a second person can join in. There might be ones with CPU, but like you know, just ones where like it's like a general like arcade like adventure type game. But basically like, you know, it could be like a bunch of like game jam-esque ideas that are like separate from the main gameplay loop. I think I'm gonna just merge these all together. I'm gonna play dangerously here. But yeah, like in Shenmue, like there were like a bunch of Sega titles that you could like go into the arcade and play them, like Space Harrier, Outrun, stuff like that. I feel like it'd be kind of cool to just like experiment with some other like types of games that I wanted to create and just make like mini versions of them. I'm trying to think of what other like game that came out. What was it called? It was like it had like 50 like fleshed out games. UFO 51 was it? Yeah, UFO 50. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Listen, if it okay, if Neverwake makes more than I don't know, a million net, I'll think about it. Toast. Oh, DDR minigame would be pretty fire, yeah. I was thinking about doing that for a boss, perhaps. Because there are sequences where, like, you're supposed to, like, evade the enemy or, like, compete with them. So, yeah, if it makes more than a million. If it makes more than a million, I don't have to worry about the... Yeah, because then I can just take my time. I don't have to worry about paying bills for a while. There's people making like incremental games in like 6 months that are making like pretty close to that now. So I wouldn't I wouldn't retire. Well, okay. Let me just say it this way. I wouldn't be working like professionally. I'd probably just keep doing what I'm doing now full time. Like right now I'm doing this on top of full-time work. I'm doing it for the love of the game right now. But if I didn't have to worry about money or anything, that'd be pretty sweet too. That's like the true game dev dream. I know, right? Imagine not having to worry about bills. Couldn't be me. Dude, I don't miss exams whatsoever. Screw exams. Most useless, like, test of, like, uh, anything. It's really just, like, some, like, engineered environment to make you feel pressure to do something, which, in the real world, like, it will almost never happen. It's like the meme of like the interview process versus the actual job. And they always make the interview process look like hell, and then it's like the actual job is them just frolicking through the forest or wherever. It's true, man. Like, the interview process is scary, and then, like, once you do the actual job, it's like, wow, this is so much easier. I mean, obviously it depends on the job or the company, right? But, my current company I work with, like, they're very fair about things. Like, I mean, obviously you still need to be like a critical thinker, and like, you know, you still have to do work, but it's not like where you're like working day in day out, like late nights or anything like that. It's very flexible, but again, it just really depends on the company. The company I worked on before, um like, we'd have to do like late night deploys and stuff, and it was stressful. So yeah, long story short, it honestly just depends. A good way to get like a litmus test of sorts about a company is like, if they're established enough, like you could check like their Glassdoor or other like review sites, Glassdoor is like the main one I can think of, but that usually has a gauge of like what employees that have actually worked with said company feel about the company, the CEO, and just the overall like environment, pay package, things like that. If it's established enough. I like C Sharp. There's other languages I'm learning right now. I've been getting into TypeScript as of recent. Just cause like, just from a general like study of like the market and stuff, it seems like TypeScript is like one of the more important languages to learn for like web testing and stuff like that, especially like for like front end testing, like automation. But I that being said, like I really like C Sharp. That's like the one language like I really stuck with. That and Python are both very good. I think it's like it's weird, right? It's like it's slightly verbose, but it's very much like Java in a way, but it's like a slightly better version. It's not as verbose, but it's not like Python where it's like, you know, you have to do like a bunch of you know, declarations for like, you know, like things like classes, and then like access modifiers, and then like all your arguments, stuff like that, just to do like a console write line, versus like Python, you just type print and then it does the same thing. So there's, but that being said, like I do prefer languages that have like built-in like typing within it, like duck typing languages. Like there's like less guardrails essentially. And I mean, if you're a one-man show, like it probably doesn't matter as much, but if like you're working in a team, it can get kind of confusing without that, you know. There's obviously other things too, but I like C Sharp. I don't know. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But if you're not used to that type of like language where it's a little bit more verbose, it could get kind of annoying. I could see that with C++. I haven't dabbled too much with it, but I think like the main thing that I think people prefer with C Sharp over C++ is like you don't have to worry about like making pointers and stuff. Like it has its own like garbage collector and stuff like that. So it's like it's a slightly dumbed down version of that, but obviously because it doesn't have that level of like customization out of the box, like it's not as performant. But again, it's kind of more of like a mid-level language, whereas like base C, C++ is more like closer to the CPU in a sense. I do appreciate the fact that it's an option with Unreal to be able to do like blueprints with C++ if you wanted to. For me, like I just because like the game I'm trying to make is a little bit on the simpler side, like I don't have to worry about it, but I like that the option's there. Like I wanted to learn it. But I honestly, for like Unreal, I don't think you really need it unless you're like in AAA specifically. Which, I mean, I probably would never want to. Woo! Four C# lectures. Let's go. Yeah, I might have a little bias, but I do like C#. But I don't know. It's somewhere in between, I guess. Like there's some things that annoy me about it, but it's a lot better than some other languages I've worked in. So at least you're not working in like Visual Basic or something. Totally biased. Yeah. That was one of the first languages like I learned with like I figured out like my interest in programming through Visual Basic because my first like big boy job we did like a lot of stuff with like spreadsheets, and I was tired of like doing like a bunch of repetitive tasks. So then I started learning like Excel. Like I don't know if it still has it. I'm pretty sure it still does. But like I think it's like VBA, which is like basically like Excel's like version of Visual Basic that lets you work with like spreadsheet automation and stuff. But that's like kind of how I started like gaining an interest of programming, because then I started building like a bunch of macros and like, you know, just a bunch of automation, so I didn't have to worry about like doing certain things over and over again. And yeah, then I just started to really enjoy programming, and then I started learning other languages at that point. I started learning like how to do automation with like Selenium and stuff. It was really cool. This is like way before like you know, any of like the agentic AI crap was around. This is like around 2018, 2019. Looking better. I guess it would toast. It would depend on like what you find the most interesting, um, as like uh, what you would want to use programming for. Like not necessarily like an industry per se, because programming is such like a it's like a connective tissue across like so many different industries that I don't think it's like something that could be defined at an industry level. It's more so like what type of like architecture you prefer, like or what part of the tech stack do you like working towards? Like is it more server side? Like do you like working on back end more? Do you like working on front end? Or even if like let's say you don't like web, you know, you like the game dev side, or if you like working on like embedded hardware. Like it honestly just depends on like what your appetite is as far as that goes, and that figuring that part out, like what would interest you more, would probably like help narrow down like the tech stack. Yeah, I don't know the first thing as far as cybersecurity goes. I didn't get into the IT side, but I think just I think you're in the right mindset of like you're just trying to figure out like what interests you. Personally, I would never want to work in IT. Personally, anything cybersecurity, I don't know, it bores me. I like more the pure development side. Like it's still important, obviously, but I just don't find it as interesting. What other options do you have as far as like training programs and stuff? It's getting a little bit closer. Probably the right idea to just merge everything, because then it gets annoying if like I'm trying to edit and it's all in separate layers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. AI, like, it's such a weird area right now where it's like, I don't. The thing is, like, it's such a new thing, but it's been, like, forcibly, like, introduced and, like, leveraged into, like, every facet of, like, the development cycle for a lot of, like, bigger companies before they even realize, like, uh, this is an AGI, like, it can't replace workers. So it's like it's just like this weird area where like they don't know like the actual realized value from it. So I would just be weary of that. I honestly I like if I started over like right now and I had to pick like a certain area, I'd probably go into like robotics. I feel like that would be the most interesting. I think there's some level of like nuance there where you can kind of like combine certain like stacks to get or certain like combinations of like web AI and embedded hardware together with robotics. Yeah, definitely not generative. I'm very anti-generative AI personally because of just the yeah I didn't fast food fast food. Yeah, it's yeah, it's just such a gray area as far as like I almost said fast food again. A generative AI, like it's just such a gray area, like legally and morally. Well, morally, I say it's like completely wrong to do it because you're basically stealing from so many artists without like their permission or stuff. They they need to have way more legislation to like protect um, artists or whoever owns the rights to the content that's being used in those trading models. Um, or I think Unity did it at one point where they had their own um, in-house training data, or they're like they had internal like artists building the sample data for like a model that they were working on. Yeah, machine learning is interesting too. But I think that's like more personalized AI in a sense, because essentially you're training off of like a particular set of actions and events versus like you're just taking a bunch of existing data. Like I think back then, like in the 2010s, because that was machine learning was like way before like chat agents and stuff like that, where it was like being introduced and like making like neural networks and stuff for like vehicles and like the whole self-driving stuff. Like I think it was more widely accepted when it was just that. But when like it started getting into the generative stuff, like it was very like not great. Yes and no. Like you can't make like well, yeah, that's the thing in tech is like it's kind of the risk nowadays is like it's high turnover, higher risk in a lot of instances, but it pays more. But to your point, like yeah, Squarespace and other like template based like website builders, yeah, they do provide like a way for a lot of small businesses, for example, to like essentially build a site quickly. But for like a corporation, a lot of times they'll probably have an internal team that builds the website from scratch. Like a Squarespace and all of those like vendors are usually for like small business a lot of times. Or if it is for a corporation, it's usually just to like work on some like lower priority website that they're willing to just forego like development costs on that and just pay up front to a vendor. Like usually I would say like usually at least from my experience, like corporations, like they'll still pay like Squarespace or like a certain vendor that's more widely known for the client or the public facing websites, just because like they want to make sure like it's continuously like available, stable. But like if you're building internal websites or like for a specific product, a lot of the times that's built in-house from my experience. Like front end, back end, like everything is usually built from scratch, because usually with that tool it works outside of the guardrails of what like Squarespace, Wix do. Squarespace and Wix, like they have a certain set of guardrails. They're very like there's customization, but it's kind of like a one size fits all approach where it's like, this is what we offer, this is the variances of what we're willing to offer, but that's it. It's what you see is what you get. So to answer your question, like, I don't think that negates web dev in a sense. It might be an issue more so for like if you're a contractor, or like if you were an independent contractor that was doing like that sort of web dev, like if you were like building like front end for companies. I could see that where that adds a little bit of instability. Yeah, AI can't do it. Like not in the current state that it is. At least not by so like AI can't do it in isolation. It would need to be through AGI to be able to be completely hands off, and able to like think for itself, which with the current architecture of like just everything right now, it's not possible. AI is good, or it works better just when it's used as like an assistant. Like it's there to help the developer. It's here, or if it's helping like somebody build something, but not in the generative sense. Yeah. Like if it's used to help you learn something, I think is when it's most beneficial. But if it's outright replacing your work, it's gonna fail. And honestly, it just shouldn't be used at that point. It's very good if you're trying to just work on the important things and you need boilerplate, then it's good. But if you need it to think for itself or think for you, then you're gonna have a really rough time. Exactly. Yeah, with the game dev stuff, like at this point I think just do it for fun. Because if you work for like a company or like a studio for that as like your source of income, you're not going to be happy. I think it's much more enjoyable when it's like you have a particular idea that you want to build and you're working towards that like on your own time. Because the other thing too is that you don't have like autonomy over like the decision process, especially like with larger scale like studios. It's kind of you treat it like any other job at that point, where it's like, yeah, they want this feature added, you have to build it, and outside of just the implementation of that, you really don't have any say in like the actual like game itself. It's just you're building it as a end goal for the client or the player, I guess. But you don't really have any autonomy in like the decision making behind, oh yeah, is this a good idea? Will players like this? Not really. You have to do like a user ticket or user story at that point. Yeah, that's ideal. Is you have full autonomy over it, and you can fail and continue to make the game on your own. You learn so much more. You have full decision making. It's scary because you don't have like a fallback system if you're doing it yourself, but I think you'll enjoy it much more. It's almost there. Plus, I think like, you know, it'd be like much cooler of a story, like to be able to build something yourself, you know. When you work in a team, especially the bigger it is, like the less like you really get noticed for your contributions to it. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as far as that goes, Toast. If I do end up in a scenario where like I need help, I'd probably just, you know, contract somebody for help with something. But other than that, like, I think just doing what you can on your own is probably better, both for learning and just from a pragmatic standpoint. Because I mean, like, just for example, like what I'm doing right now with like all the sprite work, I can't even imagine how much it would cost, like, to have somebody do this like out of pocket for like everything in the game. That'd be expensive. But I like doing this stuff anyway, so. I don't think it's wrong to ask for help or to try to search online for like answers to things, so long as you try to figure it out yourself first. I think where a lot of developers like get like kind of like pushy about it is like if you just keep asking without trying to figure it out yourself first. Yeah, exactly, Rand. I think just knowing your limitations as well will help you out a lot too. I think if you pick like a particular skill in the process that you excel at or you enjoy the most, whether it's art, music, or just purely the programming itself, I think if you focus on that specifically in your game, like, it'll be so much better for it. than to try to be like a, you know, try to appeal to like everything or to everyone. I mean, yeah, it's same boat. Like, I'm not gonna understand things until like I do research on like Unreal's documentation or like literally just searching Stack Overflow for answers a lot of time. If they like if I can't figure out a solution after a few hours, I think that's pretty normal. But I think it's important to have that friction at the very least, rather than like, ChatGPT, can you answer this for me? Crocs, is this true? Am I an idiot? How do I get free Robux, Grok? gotta be be comfortable with the debugging toast. I think one thing that helps that I did is you can make logs for your character states. Like if there's something wrong with your player controller, you can basically use that, or just, you know, apply it to the UI, and just like keep track of it that way, rather than like you trying to grasp straws of like, what the frick is he doing? Why is he in space? Yeah, I think too, as well, Toast, like, I think it's good to work on refactoring, of course, but also like don't worry too much about like over engineering either. Like if your game is running it consistently like well above or at 60 frames, I think you're fine, honestly. There's a lot of like core things that you should not do. And I don't know if they're present necessarily like in the same way with Love 2D, but like, you know, making sure like certain things that don't need to be executed every frame aren't being executed every frame. Yeah. I can't really speak to it that much because I haven't really used like a framework. I've used engines, but not frameworks. But usually there's ways to like basically take preventative measures. Like if you're doing like one thing I did was like if you're using raycast, for example, to check like players like airborne state, you don't have to like keep shooting it every frame necessarily while they're in that state. If like say you're checking for walls or things like that, you don't have to like fire every single wall cast or array cast. If it detects like it's hit a wall, like you could just fire like every subsequent ray cast until it's met the condition, and then basically break from that loop, for example, for that frame. Yeah. You could probably build like a state machine or something like that in that case. I think more importantly, like it doesn't matter too much as long as like it's it's manageable to the state that like it's performant enough, and that like it's self-documenting in a sense. Like you can come back to it 6 months from now, for example, and you would know like, oh, this is what this function does, or this is what these variables do. I can't tell you like the amount of times where like I've come back to a project and I'm like, what does this do again? So yeah, that would just keep that in mind. Yeah, there's also like there's a pattern, um I think it's called guard clauses, where you sort of work um you work with if statements in reverse, so that like you would do like, instead of if else's, you do like if returns. So like that way you don't have you minimize the amount of code by prioritizing like what needs to be checked in order, and then basically whatever is at the bottom of that if chain would just be automatically executed. But a guard clause would essentially be like, if we know it's a certain state that we don't need to do anything else with, then we just return automatically, and then we just keep moving down the function until like a certain condition is met. Otherwise, we just return the default value. That way, it's a little less verbose. I think I finished the other hand, so I can move on to this farm. That's good. Yeah, that's the thing is like game jams, they sound cool, and there's definitely been like instances where like they've led to like very successful games, but I think it's really just like it's really dependent on like a person's risk appetite, I feel like. I know that I would not be happy doing it, so I just go at my own pace. Oh, hey, Finn. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing good. I've just been working on animating a party member for my game. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'm trying to fix her hands up because there's a few frames where it's looking goofy. What were you drawing, Finn? Out of curiosity, if you don't mind sharing. Thank you, thank you. Well, that sounds interesting, Toast. That's funny. Yeah, I hope it turns out well, Finn. I do have a server if you feel like sharing it. You could totally share it there, but no pressure there. Should rest soon. I don't know how late it is for you. Right now it's like 6:11 p.m. for me. Oh, that's late. Yeah, I have some buddies of mine that like I think it's like 2 or 3 a.m. for them right now, and they stay up super late. I'm like, dog, how do you function? 'Cause he has like work and stuff. My one buddy, and he's like always on super late. Yeah, we don't. We make poor life decisions. That's the way to live. It's interesting, although I'm trying to picture in my head how that would look top down personally. Okay, there's like a little bit. Oh, I see. Yeah, his thumb here is a little too small. She needs beefier thumbs. Quack, quack. Honestly, if I went back to school, Finn, I'd probably be doing the same thing, not gonna lie. You can totally send it if you want, Toast. No judgment there. You're still figuring things out with your game, so it's always encouraged. I honestly like I feel that like your mind always like having like the perfect vision of what you want, and then you try to like recreate it, and it doesn't look nearly as cool. Oh, I see. Maybe we need to. Damage. Yeah, it needs to be lowered. A little closer. But yeah, your idea, Finn, for your drawing sounds cute. Yeah, so it's a how could I do like a a sales pitch? If you like Paper Mario or Super Mario RPG, imagine that with Dragon Ball Z. That's basically the premise of Neverwake. It is a 2.5D, well, I guess 3D, but more 2.5D. You can move back and forth in the world space. But it's a platformer JRPG where your abilities in the game are all bosses. So the main character for the game is Jade, which by herself she doesn't have any abilities necessarily on her own. Like she can't really get around the overworld by herself. She can do certain things, but she need other characters that you basically fight and defeat, such as this character Brick, who's like basically like a giant talking brick phone. So he looks more like a cartoon robot with like pecs for num keys. But yeah, so like early into the game you get the ability to do like a double jump, which is a throw where I've already programmed it, but essentially like he'll grab onto you and then spin you around, and then you pick a direction, and then he'll throw you into the air, and that basically serves as your double jump. And then there's other characters as well that will have their own abilities. This other character that I'm doing the art for is another character. These are all party members that will you'll eventually get into battle with. So they'll be like allies, but they'll also be able to like help you navigate the overworld. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's gonna like that style of game. I think it's better to just pick like a certain niche, whatever, and just, you know, do what you like, work, you know, building for, or the type of genre you like. not everyone's gonna like it, but I think that's still better than trying to appeal to everyone. So I am working towards building a vertical slice, hopefully by the end of the year. I know. Yeah, no, I appreciate that though. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a vertical slice of like the battle system and like maybe the first like area of the overworld done by probably the first quarter of next year. I've really I took a break from like the game for like a year because I was working on like my YouTube channel, and I worked on like this big animation project. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's probably gonna kill Krita for me, but I guess I'll pull it up. Where is the file? One sec. I think it was this one. This one literally took me like 9 months to finish. Yeah, Krita is really good. I mean, there's some like annoying things about it, like if you if you have two projects open, and then you close one of the windows, there's like a small chance that it just automatically crashes. It's funny. Yeah, so like this animation in particular was part of like one of my recent videos, and this one ended up taking like 8 or 9 months to finish. Yeah, this was a nightmare to finish. But yeah, it used a combination of Blender and Krita together. But literally, like, I I did something stupid. I modeled the entire scene in 3D, and then I decided, oh, I'm just gonna redraw everything. So literally, like, each individual frame I redrew. The cars, the buildings, everything I redrew in 3D. The truck I redrew in 3D. Even though I had it all in 3D, just because the line art wasn't working. Yeah, I mean, it was worth it. It's still really cool. But yeah, I like doing dumb animations like this. This is an older one that I did just for fun. And then I think I had another version of that. Oh yeah, then there was this one too. I think it's this one. It's a continuation of the other one. But the nice thing with Krita is that you can import video animations. So if like you have, I think an MP4 MKV, you can just import it into the background. And then yeah, I have this other one I did where I built a shader for the motion blur or motion lines, and then I just drew over it. So do a lot of cool stuff with Krita. So. But yeah, I do that. I do all of my sprite work in Krita as well. This one I need to go back and finish. This is another one of like the boss abilities you can use in the overworld to break through like blocks, but I haven't finished it yet. Oops. Oh, that one's oh. Okay, let me make sure it's muted. Yeah, these are a bunch of ones I haven't touched in a while. But yeah. It's nice to see these again. I haven't worked on them in a little while. I know, that truck is crazy. There's an older version of that to give you a better idea of like what I mean by like just working with the models directly. So yeah, like this one, for example, was an older version. And then I would just import the model and then just like export it as MP4, import it, and then I just redraw like over those models. If I, in retrospect, knowing like what I did wrong, I probably would have just used the line art modifier to just add the line work onto the 3D models. That would have saved me a lot of time. Yeah, anyone can do it. It's really just like a matter of like whether or not like you're willing to put in that much time. It's animating is not as hard as people make it out to be, as far as like how to animate, like for at least for basic stuff. But like in terms of the amount of work involved, it's a lot of like just a lot of drawings. A lot of drawing. I think that's where the main like budget involved with productions is just doing the work behind it, but the actual like thought process behind it, it's not the hardest, but it's very tedious. That Pikachu one that I'm working on is probably going to be for my next video. I was going to remake the Pokemon Yellow intro for the 30th anniversary. It already passed. It was like, what was it, February 27th? So I'm way over, but I'm going to try to get that done by around mid-April, a little bit before mid-April. It doesn't, and the other thing too is like the drawings don't have to be perfect either when you're animating, because a lot of times, like especially for like in between frames, you're only gonna see it for a moment, so it doesn't matter like if it doesn't look quite right. But yeah, that's cool though that you're a cartoonist. Drawing's fun, you know. It's a good way to like relax and just enjoy life. And also just to express yourself too. There's so many different styles out there. That was a huge like I think the moment I was like super into cartoons was early to mid 2000s for me. And then obviously like late 90s, early 2000s, like that was when Toonami was like at its peak. Yeah, but if you feel up to it, Finn, like feel free to share what you've been working on. Do it either. I think YouTube, I enabled like community posts. I also have like a Discord server, or however, if you feel up to it. If not, that's cool too. You have usurped Claw. You are #1 Toast. How's it feel? How's it feel to be the #1 Pasta Stan? Pasta Stan. Why is that hard to say? Oh no, Ranch. Oh, which video were you referring to, Finn? Oh, speaking of indie, have you guys seen the Amazing Digital Circus, the newest episode? It was really good. Nice. Yeah, that it was really good. Nice. Yeah. I was scared of Kane in the middle of that. I was like, what is he gonna do? I was worried he was gonna start like destroying them. Oh yeah, the ending was amazing. Yeah, Toast. If listen, as I think for you guys, like I would definitely provide some keys for sticking around. So once we get to that point. Yeah, it was so unsettling because Kane usually doesn't like drop the act. So like seeing that happen for the first time was like really, it was genuinely like horrifying. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the other series I think I saw from Glitch, what was it called? It's the one where it's like basically kind of like a jab at Disney. I always forget the name of it. Knights of Guinevere, I think it's called. I saw the first episode of that, or the pilot. I thought it was good. Wasn't that from Glitch? Oh, okay. Gotcha. I think it's cool though that you know, they're giving more opportunities for animators. Yeah, I like the Owl House. I didn't finish it entirely, but I watched the first like I think I watched the first season of it. It was good. I liked it. I know people were upset because I think it got canceled. Like, I don't think I've seen Clara in the Beyond. Would you recommend it? Yeah, I'd be open to trying it out. Yeah. Got you. Hmm. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to check that out later. Yeah, I watched the first season with my girlfriend. I forgot the reason why we took a break from it. I think there was just something else going on at the time. But yeah, I'll probably finish it at some point. Well, that was because it. Wait, maybe I'm misremembering, but it did get canceled, right? Technically, or it was just they rushed the ending for it. I'm probably misremembering. Ranch, give me some fresh OSTs to grace your ears with. Please and thank you. All right, I got you. Okay. There you go. Yeah, Finn, you should probably rest. But thank you for stopping by. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Hopefully you're close to finishing. If we have time left over, Toast, yeah, we can play Skullgirls. But if we don't make it, then I will definitely play it for the next stream. Just remind me. I've inspired you. Never played Skullgirls, but I do like the art though. Yeah, I think that's part of why I was scared to get into it. Like, if I play that and my brother or my friend's cat, he was like, how do I explain? Thank you, Finn. Take care, and have a good rest. Many blessings. Bye-bye. Yeah, it makes them lock in hard. I think, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like after like a certain period of time, specifically with fighting games, like you start to like just ignore a lot of that because you're so focused on like the core mechanic that like you kind of just ignore all of like the actual assets and all the graphical information is just kind of like in the background for you. I felt that at least when I was like playing Smash and stuff. Yeah. Right. Yeah, plot twist. It makes you concentrate even more. Oh yeah, I forgot. Just 12 frames. It looks a lot better at 12 frames. I get 10. Bro, I wish. I wish there was a clap. That reminds me, for the newest JSR or Jet Set Radio, are they bringing back Decky? I don't know if they're bringing back the Decky. I've heard so little about the game, to be honest. I'd say like the one preview they had initially, where they were like showcasing all the games. Why is that? I genuinely don't know why. The only like I have heard of like one instance in particular where Sega did have like a bit of like a internal conflict. I think it was like with the Space Channel 5 when they had MJ in it. I think that was around the time that like he was like under a bunch of scrutiny over like the whole child stuff going on, or the accusations at the time. Probably better for him that he is freelance. But yeah, it does suck that like basically it basically prevents him from like coming back. Was he like for Johnny? Was it just like an issue with royalties or something? Kind of interesting. I didn't know. Oh, I see. Yeah, that. I mean, I guess it would depend on like uh whatever contract he signed as far as like the usage of his music. But yeah, I can understand that being like being frustrating, like if he wasn't paid for having his music referenced or you know realize like profits or royalties. I forgot, is the fourth movie coming out this year? I haven't been keeping track. Unk needs to keep track of the dates. No, I was saying, was the fourth movie coming out this year? Next year. Okay, gotcha. I have a funny hot take as far as the games are concerned. I think it would be I think it would be kind of cool if they tried to do like a modern remake of '06. But obviously they have to like retell the story, make it a little bit less sus in certain aspects. And obviously don't rush like the development of the in-game engine, for God's sake.
Let's do it.
I feel like they're gonna continue with the Frontiers framework. The only thing I really didn't like about the movement with Frontiers was like the what was it called? The cyberspace zones. Those were terrible for like being able to steer and everything. Like, it felt so gross. Like, it was so bad, like, that I had to get mods just to make it like playable. Which is weird because, like, on the overworld, like, the movement's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's certainly a lot easier to steer Sonic, like, compared to cyberspace. It's rough, bro. I don't know what they were thinking. The thing that irks me with a lot of like Sonic teams, like, yeah, what were they thinking? The thing that irks me with a lot of like the mainline like games that Sonic Team like developed the player controller for, there's so many scenes or areas of the map where they take the control away just so like they can do some dynamic cameras and stuff, and I'm like, stop doing that, just give full control. Like with areas like with rail grinding sections or loops, like it always does like they always like force you to go through a cinematic for it. I mean, there's ways to bypass it, like in Frontiers, for example. You can do it, but it feels like you're fighting against the engine at that point. Hey, what's up, Zeno? Not much. We're finishing this up. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, but that problem's existed for like even before Frontiers. And the thing is, like, when you try to fight against it, sometimes like you get punished for it. That's the thing, though. You know, they don't. Yeah, I don't hate the game. It's just like, if they're gonna do that, like, Just keep it to a minimum. Yeah, it just didn't make sense. I don't know. Oh yeah, the forced 2D zones. I feel like if they're gonna do that, like they should just they need to pick like like if just pure 3D or pure 2D. Like I don't like it doesn't translate well. I can understand for like the cyberspace missions, like if it was just a pure 2D stage, but when they like force it in the middle of like a sequence, like it's just like what? It's very disorienting. I hope that like with the if they do decide to continue with it, like just have it be pure 3D. I think it just makes more sense. goes goes into 2D in the middle of a 3D section. Why do you torment me? Oh yeah. I don't know why they don't go fully momentum based. It's so weird. I do want to replay it at some point, but God, I was so salty when I lost my progress. I have not felt compelled to go back to it. Looks pretty good. Oh, that's cool. That reminds me of the VRC multiplayer. I think we're almost done with this. Or just about. I'm contemplating whether or not I want to add shading for the like rim of the ears. The only other thing, yeah, I should add some shading for the mouth or the like tongue area. Probably gonna have to use a different color. Okay. It's a little too purpley. Maybe a little bit darker. You know, I always wanted to try though, Ranch, was the multiplayer for Breath of the Wild. I never played Tears of the Kingdom though. I've heard such like mixed feelings about it. I mean, Breath of the Wild is a very long game, assuming you don't like try to exploit your way to Ganon. But I loved that game when it came out. still gotta play like Donkey Kong Bonanza too. I haven't played that either. I haven't played so many games. I know. I can finally get money to play games now that I'm grown up. But now I don't have time to play them. What a conundrum. Yeah, he was. Need to make the buckle a little bit thicker. Yeah, I think 12 frames per second is probably the ideal frame rate for this. Good news, I think I'm just about done. I'm just gonna fix the belt, and then I think we can move on to brick. Still have, yeah, we still got a little bit of time. I think I'm gonna switch to Skullgirls just because Post requested it too. Yes, it's peak time. Man, I missed playing peak. if you squint. Squint your ears. Oh, Mega Man's great. Yeah. Out of the classic series, I still need to try 11 and yeah, 1 through 3 are very good. 1 is kind of, it requires some patience, but 2 and 3 are very good. And then the X series 1 through 3 is very good. A lot of people like 4 and 5 as well, but I never played. But I general sentiment is they're very good. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, Legends is very non-traditional. Honestly, guys, I think that looks good. I think it looks good to go. There's like a few like very like minute things, like the eyelashes kind of bounce a little bit, but for the most part, that looks, I'm happy with that. That looks very good to me. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, and then I noticed like the face does bounce, like the cheek here kind of bulges out a little bit on one frame, but it's, I mean, for the most part, you could barely notice it unless you're like staring directly at it. So I'm happy with that. Okay. So what I'm thinking for Brick, I'm gonna probably draw out a pose. I was thinking of him doing the you know, like the taunt where Falcon or Captain Falcon's like, come on. You know, he just kind of like folds like his fingers backwards. I was thinking of doing something like that, perhaps. But let me think. The one thing I'm not sure of is which arm to do it on. I guess it. Let me test it out. I was thinking you could maybe like have him pivot and then do it, but it might look kind of weird considering he doesn't have legs. But maybe it would just make more sense to have it on his left arm. Let me just save a copy of this. That do so we kind of like keep the same pose with the thumb, right? But then you know, you could do oh, thank you, Powerbot. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Mwah. This angle might need to be changed, but yeah, I definitely have to change the angle a bit. Oh, thank you, yeah. We just finished this one up. This is for one of the party members for my game Neverwake. We're just working on idle animations at the moment, but I'm looking to our third party member. Right now I'm trying to like set up like Captain Falcon's taunt where he's like got his hand like folded. Trying to do something like that. Might have to change the angle a bit. Probably just match with the angle I have here, honestly. Like have the same thing for the thumb here, perhaps. Those fingers are definitely like a little on the longer side. Like a little bit shorter like that. And then for this, like I'm just doing the motion with my hands right now. Like the fingers don't really change. As far as like they remain straightened. So it looks something like this perhaps. Where it's just kind of like almost like that. The thumb doesn't really change position either. So like keep that there. The base that connects to like the bottom of the fingers kind of gets front up here perhaps. Okay. We'll probably have to play with the proportions a bit more so they make sense, but at least to get the general shape and feel down, just like we'll throw the fingers in there. How are we on time? Oh, we got a little over a half an hour. Great. If I can at least get like this hand gesture looking pretty good, that'd be nice. Turn that a little bit. The ring finger's like a little bit longer than the index, so we're gonna move that up a little bit. I probably wouldn't keep the... So, it looks kind of weird in this pose. I'll probably extend the arm out, but the hand should be in the same, like, resting pose, so I think it's fine to just do it here for now. But yeah, Ranch, to continue off from what you're mentioning, I haven't played much Legends. I'd love to get back into it again, though. I really like the art style for that game, or that series in general. I think that inspired like a lot of like low poly characters, like, with the toon style. I really like it. If I got into character modeling, I would try to do something similar. Where the face is kind of like kind of drawn on. Like it just has its own like separate textures. Another course I have. Another course I gotta go through. Yeah, it's really good. It's funny because they're like, I don't know. Capcom's weird. They have like so many like, you know, different IPs that I feel like they just don't touch, or series that like they just don't want to bring back. Please, for the love of God, bring back Mega Man X. I'm begging you, Capcom, please. The one I played to, oh my god, I spent so many hours on it, was yeah, 20 years. Maverick Hunter X. I love that game. It was like a essentially like a remake of the first Mega Man X for the PSP. It was so good. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I enjoy classic Mega Man. It's fun, but there's a reason why they made the jump to X during like the Super Nintendo days. Like it had different feel to it, and like the movement mechanics are just so much more like enjoyable in X. So good. But I don't know, they're just afraid to... They're afraid to touch the series, and I don't know why. It's very sad. I did, a little bit. I liked it. It was very cute. Let's just put it this way. I prefer it much more than the original. Let's put it that way. The original is a test of patience. The thing that's funny though for me with the original Mega Man is the immediate like fall once the game detects like that you can't recover from like falling into a bottomless pit, how immediate you fall. It's so funny to me. It's like the only game in the series that does that, but it's so funny every time I see it. Like if you ever played again, like on Gutsman's stage, like on the conveyor belts, if you miss, you next frame you're immediately dead. Like it doesn't even give you a chance to see what happened. You just die. But it's so funny to me. Yeah, that actually makes a whole lot more sense. In that context, it makes a lot more sense. I will say it's kind of weird that like in Japan like they kept his name is Rockman, and then like all the other characters have like a like a musical theme to them, but in the US they just call them Mega Man, and then all the other characters just retain the same names. It's so weird to me. I guess it was just an 80s thing, I don't know. But Rockman sounds cool. I don't know. That I can understand. I maybe because they were trying to I don't know. I'm not too like into like the the fandom, but it feels like what was the character's name? Mighty Mouse. I think that's who I'm thinking of. Maybe they wanted to make like a distinction between that in Japan, is my guess, but I'm probably wrong with that. But that's probably why they went with that. But Astro Boy just, I don't know, it just fits really nicely. A lot of times it's just the feel, you know? I think I have enough time to fix this end up, and then I'll probably be it as far as the time for today. I'll work on this a little bit more offline, of course. Bro, that's like it's funny to me because like in DBZ, like all the hype characters are just named after foods. But it worked. That reminds me, I think they're gonna announce or showcase Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku for Fighters D soon. Kind of interested to see how they interpret that. If Jade was a food, I don't know. That's a good question. She's like an onion because she has layers to her character. Shut up. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. There's no hope for me, Ranch. I'm unspectacular. Dude, I need to watch Shrek again. You reminded me. My annual Shrek watch. Oh yeah. I'll probably I'm gonna end the stream around 8. It's been like about 20 minutes, but I'll probably be on VC for a little bit after the chill. I haven't had time to get on during the weekend. I want to see you destroy as Spider-Man. I'm always mesmerized. Aren't you productive? You're so productive, Ranch. I'm proud of you. Ho ho ho. You said you were trying to get it done by the end of the month, right? If I remember correctly. Nice, yeah. Make sure to link it in the server once you're done. I'll check it out. If you do explode, let it be on April Fool's Day, so it doesn't actually happen. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have fun with what you're doing, of course, but yeah, it's like, I know how it feels like you just want to keep working on it over and over, and it's like, after the 8th or 9th month, you know, you just gotta be like, I'm done. I'm done, bro. I know, Brick's got some long fingers, bro. How else is he gonna dial your phone number? Yeah. He just calls you, and you're like, hello? Hey, I'm out here stroking my Yeah, he wouldn't, but it'd be funny. That's the power of having the ability to animate. You could have your characters do whatever. The only unfortunate side of that is I can't voice act. So he is saved in that regard. I am now that you mention it, characters actually. Why do I feel like the internet is going to create like the worst things ever with this guy? Why? Why do I feel that? I am genuinely scared. I can't wait. I can't wait to be traumatized. A little better. I'm genuinely self-conscious now because he knows like longer fingers. Do we just rank them? It's too short though. Those fingers need to go on a diet. Crack my knuckles. Yeah, his hand's gonna need a little bit more work, but as long as I can get the general look of the keyframes down, I think we should be in a good spot. And I'll probably work on it offline a bit. Me waving hello. Yeah. I've only played which one was it? I played a little bit of the first Star Fox and I think 64. I don't have that much experience, is what I'm trying to get at. It's funny because I don't know if I've ever brought it up before. I was actually scared of Star Fox when I was a kid because of there when I was a kid there was like this there was this service, because back then, like, you know, the internet wasn't as prevalent. They would have they had this service from GamePro where they would send in like VHS tapes every month, and they would give you like promotion or like it would give you like basically like the equivalent of like, you know how like you go on IGN and you get like previews of games. They would also do like cheat codes and like previews of like future games or reviews. Back then, like, you know, you didn't get like information like that as quickly, so it was like a nice thing to have. But the reason why I bring that up is because they did like, they had a segment with Star Fox, and for whatever reason, the music was super ominous when it played back on the VHS, and then the image warped to the intro for the Super Nintendo version, and it scared me as a kid because it just shows like the entire group staring you down, and the music's all ominous and warped. That I didn't play. I watched it again recently. I was like curious, like why was I so scared about it? And then I watched it again recently. I was like, wow, that was dumb. But I don't know, for some reason it scared me as a kid. Dude, don't give the fan developers out there, don't give Sonic EXE developers like any more ideas. I don't need more jump scares in my life. They did a 64 remake on the 3DS, right? Yeah, I've gotten that vibe from a lot of people that like the series. I'm pretty sure they had was it for the GameCube? The one where like you switch between like space battles and like traveling on foot. Was it I think it was for the GameCube. It was like Crystal Adventure or something. I totally forgot. I'm not super in depth with the Fox lore. Star Fox lore. Was that the? Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, it's another series that like I don't know, Nintendo barely touches. But I think it would be interesting to have like a game that like it's like practically it's like seamless, where like you can switch between going on foot and then like traversing planets. I think that would be interesting. Kind of like that one game, No Man's Sky. I feel like that would just like fit perfectly with Star Fox. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of like Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. but with Fox. Yeah, that other species was next, not the Lombaxes. It does remind me, though, I'm kind of excited to play through God of War. I think they're doing a remake of the first three games. Oh, interesting. I'm getting the Wrenchmaster lore here. I'm learning so much. Yeah, that does suck. I honestly don't know why they insist on that. Maybe because of, like, they want exclusivity deals with the console market, my guess, but it's still kind of stupid to me. I don't know. I get that, like, for PC, there's like different architectures that you have to account for, but, like, I mean, they're a big company. Can handle it. Already? Dang. But yeah, we're about time, guys. Pretty good session. I think we got a lot done. But I'll be on VC in the server in a little bit. Just gonna take a short break. But thank you guys for watching. Very productive session. Stretch. Yeah, I'll be on again Tuesday? Yeah. Honestly surprised that it went by so fast, but I'll work on this one a little bit more. Offline, hopefully. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you. Platonically. Alright, guys, you have a great evening. Bye-bye.